Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Shivani Gupta. Merely hours after the TMC won a record landslide victory in West Bengal elections, violence was unleashed across the state. Several BJP workers have allegedly been attacked and lost their lives as well. MHA had to take notice of the situation, asking for a report from the state police. The governor has also sought for the same. The Prime Minister has spoken to the West Bengal governor, expressing concern over the law and order situation, and today BJP President JP Nadda landed in Kolkata to take stock of the situation, visiting the families of the slain workers as well. We want to highlight some of the worst cases that are coming to light right now. One of the worst was Avijit Sarkar, BJP worker, who in fact managed to go on Facebook and post a couple of videos narrating his haranguing fate and tale of the violence unleashed, as he alleged, by TMC goons in Belagata. He said that his house, the NGO that he runs for animals, and even the party office were vandalized. He broke down in that video and said that TMC workers did not even spare two of his puppies. Soon after, Sarkar himself was lynched. He is one of the slain workers that the BJP has released names of. Before we go on further, just see the video that he posted about the attack on him.
আমি লাইভে আসতে জানি না, আজকে আমার সামনে বোমের পর বোম পেরে পড়লো, আমার ঘর দৌড় পার্টি অফিস ভাঙচুর করে দিল। আমি অবেলা কয়েকটা পশুকে রাস্তা থেকে তুলে এনে চিকিৎসা করি। ঠিক আছে, আমার একটাই দোষ, আমি একজন বিজেপি কর্মী। তা বলে যাই হোক না কেন, সে যে যেমন রাজনৈতিক সমর্থন করতে পারে, কিন্তু আমি তো একজন ডগ লাভার, একদম পশুপ্রেমিক। আমি কটা কুকুরকে, রাস্তার কুকুরকে তুলে এনে চিকিৎসা করি। সৌদ বাচ্চা দিয়েছে। এই কুকুরটা শিয়ালদা থেকে নিয়েছিলাম। দেখুন, আমাদের এই অঞ্চলে আরো কতগুলো কুকুর ছিল দেখা, এ কয়েকটা বাচ্চা দিয়েছিল। দেখুন, এর বাচ্চাদেরকে কি হিসাবে অসংখ্য ভাবে মৃত্যু করে দিল, মেরে দিল।
Kailash Vijayvargiya, senior leader of the BJP, also posted a video from a village in Nandigram in which he alleged Muslim workers of the TMC were attacking, openly beating and pulling the hairs of BJP women workers. In this video, what is seen is that two women are being beaten, they are being pushed to the ground and are being dragged by the hair. Take a look.
Not. Not. Not.
And then there is this video of TMC workers taking out victory marches. Many of the men are actually smeared in green gulal. Green, remember, is the color of the TMC. Similar green color was even used during celebrations right outside Mamata Banerjee's residence, even as the results were being announced on May 2. As the victory rally is going through narrow lanes, we can see these workers actually barging into people's houses and ransacking them, starting to pull out people from these houses also and thrashing them. Many of them are carrying sticks. Now, the TMC's response to all of this is just 3 of the videos that we have seen, we have shown right now, but there are scores more that are circulating on social media. The TMC's only response has been that these are old videos or from outside Bengal. So this is the only response that we've got from the TMC that has been in power and that has been alleged to have unleashed this violence through its workers, and that is coming back to power by a landslide victory. So the question we're asking today is, can the TMC evade its responsibility? I want to go across to our guest. First up, joining us, Suparna Moitra of the TMC is joining us. Sai Deepak, Supreme Court lawyer who's filed a plea in Supreme Court for immediate restoration of the law and order in West Bengal is joining us. Abhishek Banerjee, columnist who writes often on West Bengal politics. Saurav Sikdar of the BJP West Bengal is also supposed to join us. I'm not sure if he's through with us. But let me go across to Suparna Moitro first up. Mr. Moitro, you cannot shut your eyes to what is happening. The TMC's response has been bizarre, to say the least. It's not as if the people are not aware of the history of political violence in the state. You have to do more as the party who has won the faith of the majority of the people.
Ms. Gupta, am I here to respond to what you want me to respond to?
Yes, absolutely. I'm the one asking the question.
No. Please allow me to speak. First of all, you play videos. You have not played videos from any TMC worker getting manhandled, killed by BJP. Have you played those videos? One. You have selectively
You send us, I'll
just
play
because
it.
it is your channel. No, you have the privilege to do whatever you want to in your channel. But we also have the privilege
Yes,
to
I
respond
do,
to
and
you.
I will do.
No.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Selective. No, you're selective and you are asking the question, can TMC evade responsibility? You should have said that violence should be condemned. Who is CNN? Who is CNN?
But that
to
means
respond
nothing.
to? Are you the court?
No, you will respond to because
No,
it
are
is
you the
your
court?
party whose workers
you
are
the
being
court?
alleged to
No,
indulge in
please
this
don't,
violence.
no. Please don't take that position at all. We have been watching all of you for many months now. Please don't take that position. Do you ask
And?
Modi or do you ask Shah that why
No,
he is responsible
you are being
for all
alleged
that
to
is
have.
happening in the
One
country?
second.
No,
It's
do you
not a
ask Modi?
position I am
Do
taking.
you ask Shah?
That's the
Do
allegation.
you ask
I'm
Modi?
asking for your response.
Do you ask Modi? Do you ask Modi? Do you ask Shah that they are responsible
Ask
for
what?
is happening in the country? You don't. I've seldom come across a title where you have shown that Modi and Shah are responsible for all the dirt which is happening in the country.
No,
Never
what
have I
are you
seen
even
that.
attempting to do? Mr. Moitra,
No,
this is your
okay,
opportunity to
no,
tell me
Ms.
how the
Gupta.
TMC is
Ms.
going to
Gupta.
handle this.
No, Ms. Gupta, you are unnecessarily creating a problem in this country. All parties.
Yeah, I'm sitting in Delhi. I don't know how I'm creating a problem.
Yes,
And if
of
I
course.
could create this problem of mass violence in West Bengal, I don't think it says very well about the system that exists there.
You are inciting people, Ms. Gupta.
How am I
You are
inciting people? If I show the videos that are being put by people who are allegedly being lynched, that is incitement?
Videos? You are not being fair. Have you shown TMC videos? I don't know who's bidding your.
No, but are you alleging that your workers are being hit? Mamata Banerjee is
Yes.
saying that nothing of this
Yes,
sort
of
is
course,
going
yes.
on.
Of
Derek
course,
O'Brien
yes.
is saying that BJP is fighting
Of course,
between
yes.
themselves.
Please listen to me, Ms. Gupta. Please listen to me, Ms. Gupta. You're biased.
Please go ahead.
Your channel is biased. You're creating a fake narrative in your channel.
But sir, how does that
Kailash
solve the
Vijayvargiya
Bengal
and
problem?
others, Mr. JP Nadda, Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya, Amit Shah, Modi, they suffer from terminological inexactitude. That's the disease they suffer from, lying and
They are
lying.
not in power in Bengal, sir.
Right?
They weren't in power in Bengal for 10 years.
And we condemn violence. And what has TMC got to do with that? It is the government of the day until the end, and the government will be sworn in tomorrow. The governor, the chief secretary, and the DGP is there. We condemn violence to anybody which happens. Unconfirmed reports that we have received,
But you're not denying it, right?
Please listen, allow me to speak, Ms. Gupta. Unconfirmed reports which we have heard from the police stations that 5 BJP Karyakartas have died, 4 Trinamool Karyakartas have died, and 1 ISF Karyakarta have died. What is the reason behind this? Who is behind this? Neither you know nor I know. And we have seen Dr. Sambit Patra from BJP tweeting in a very simplified manner that Bengal is equal to Kashmir. We had an actress who has tweeted, and Twitter had to suspend her account today. We have also seen people saying that army needs to be there in the streets of Calcutta. This is a part of a well-orchestrated design by the BJP machinery, who has been hooted out by the people of Bengal. Modi Shah has been vanquished by the people of Bengal. They will be vanquished.
Let me go
from
across.
India
Sai
shortly
Deepak
also.
was raising his hand. I think Mr. Saurav Sikdar is also with us. But Sai, you were raising your hand. Please go ahead. You've heard what the TMC's position is.
Yeah, I heard him entirely. The point is, Shivani, if this is the tone and the arrogant manner in which a question from a journalist, a neutral journalist such as you, is being responded to, can you please imagine what must be happening to the people who have opposed the TMC in the elections? And what is surprising is that this gentleman constantly seems to talk about Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. Is he even saying that Mr. Sitaram Yechuri is lying? Aishi Ghosh is lying? People across the political spectrum in the state of West Bengal and the rest of the country, everybody is pointing this out, including people who have supported the left in the past. So his case is, this is all orchestrated by the central BJP, but the fact of the matter is the central BJP is hand in glove with Sitaram Yechuri to somehow smear the TMC. I think these people should at least grow some shame, some conscience before they say all of this. According to him, the governor is also lying. The governor has put out tweets. What is the response to the fact? This is a constitutional dignitary who specifically put out tweets saying that the state machinery is not responding to distress calls, and they're not reporting to him when he specifically asked for reports on the law and order situation. What kind of lies are being spewed? If this is the manner in which they behave as if this is a separate Republic of West Bengal as opposed to being a state of this country, please understand what must be happening on the ground. With so many people on social media, including journalists, neutral journalists, putting out all sorts of videos to basically show what's happening, where there's a one-sided violence that's being perpetrated. If the TMC truly believe what it believes is what it's saying is correct, why don't they put out the videos with respect to the murder of their workers, or let's say the injury that has been caused to their workers? In fact, Derek O'Brien is going about saying that there is nothing that has happened. Here we have the spokesperson basically making the statement that it's the TMC's workers which are actually being subjected to violence. This kind of two-faced, fork-tongued, Janusian conduct is the reason that people have finally decided that they need to approach the Supreme Court, because they don't trust the machinery in the state. And if they're saying that today they have no responsibility merely because they have not taken oath, then they don't understand that they have a responsibility, at the very least, because there's a caretaker government, notwithstanding the fact that the governor is at the helm of the affairs. This gentleman should actually read the constitution to understand what is the role of a party. As long as a new party or a new government has not taken power, you continue to be responsible to a significant extent. And if they're running away from this, let them come out and say that we are not responsible for the law and order situation in the state government. Then accordingly, the Supreme Court will take action under Articles 355 and 356.
Right. I'll come back to you on what your plea says, Sai. I want to go across to Abhijit also. Now, this is why 8 phase of polling happened in Bengal. This is why there were thousands of companies of central security forces. Because this is not new, Abhijit. We know that only in West Bengal violence has broken out of this kind. Only in West Bengal there's a history of 30-40 years of such violence. TMC suddenly seems to believe none of this exists, even though there's a whole colliery of history. And today I am being attacked because I just want to show what is happening. So I become biased. If this was happening in any other state, then obviously TMC would want this to be come out, but they don't want any questions. This is, I mean, it's a scary situation. And what is happening on ground is very retributive in nature. People are being marked. Those who seemed to be BJP workers, supporters, or are considered people who may have voted for them.
Yeah. So Shivani, you see, Mamata Banerjee herself is on record saying that during the election that the central forces will go tomorrow, and then who will protect you? You will be begging with the central forces to stay back. She said, tarpore, what happens after that? So what is happening in Bengal is very medieval. It is like a medieval army taking revenge on the captured enemy. Now what concerns me is the manner in which it is being covered up. Now this is not the old days when the CPM could get away with 28,000 political murders. Now everyone has a camera. So they have to use a very sophisticated layered strategy to cover this up. See, the first layer of this strategy is to create an enabling atmosphere in which every BJP supporter is called a fascist. Once you use that dehumanizing language, it becomes easy to accept violence against anybody. Second thing is to say that this has something to do, violence has something to do with the political culture of Bengal, as if it is in the water and the air. This is another way to escape accountability for actions. Third is feeding the false narrative. From the top leadership of the secular party yesterday, they have said that nothing is happening, it is only BJP workers fighting among each other. Next level is the social media. You see all these videos and photos, they are circulating on social media. To stop that, they have these so-called fact checkers who will say that out of 100 videos, maybe one is wrong. So they will say all of them are fake. And then the final layer to manage public memory long term is the historians. Since the liberal elite controls which sources are considered dependable, the historians will say there is no source and therefore no story. So feeding the false narrative to mainstream media, controlling social media with so-called fact checkers, and creating an enabling atmosphere in which every BJP supporter is called a fascist. This is how they are covering this up.
Okay, I think Saurav Sikdar is back with us. I'll go across to him. We're facing some issues with him. But I want to play out this conversation I had with one of BJP candidates from Purvasthali Uttar, Dr. Govardhan Das. He narrated how crude bombs were hurled at his residence late last night. Let's listen in.
Govardhan sir, this is Shivani Gupta from CNN News 18. I'm calling to take your official statement on what happened at your house last night. There was an attack at your house. Could you please detail for us what exactly happened?
What happened is a very early morning, around 4:30 in the morning. We were at sleep actually. The several motorbikes came in front of my house, and then they were throwing the small bombs, and they're using abusive languages, and then after maybe 20-30 minutes they were there, and then they all gone. So basically, they are threatening. That is all they did actually.
So when you say they were threatening, what exactly were they saying?
They are saying so all the abusive languages. काट देंगे, मार देंगे, कितना दिन रह सकते हो देख लेंगे ऐसे. This kind of words. All Bengali slangs.
And is there are there more people in the vicinity of your house or your constituency where you contested from where this has happened? Do you have any reports?
This is my house is within this my constituency, of course, and we early that morning we were at we were sleeping, and then we just got up and we were trying to hide rather because we thought that they're going to attack, and then we so fortunately they did not they could not enter in my house because we have a big gate, so basically they could not enter. They were there for 20 to 30 minutes, and then they gone.
But there are reports of this kind coming in from all across West Bengal. So are you also getting reports of any other BJP workers or supporters being targeted in your constituency?
Yeah, in my constituency right now there are several places they are being attacked, and in fact I can share you some photograph also. My workers, the BJP workers, are being been badly beaten, brutally beaten, and throwing them in the open market, and they are not allowing to take them away. And finally I called SP, and with his intervention we could manage take out some of our that wounded workers, and then for the treatments. So basically it's happening mostly in some places like right now. Just a couple of hours back, it happened in Sajadpur, within my constituency.
Okay.
And everywhere, it's happening everywhere.
Yes.
And my BJP workers are getting threat calls, and then they're and then throwing small chocolate bombs. These are happening everywhere, actually.
Everywhere. Okay. The TMC is saying that their workers are not doing this. How would you respond to that?
See, TMC workers are not doing. Who else is doing this?
They're saying that BJP is fighting between themselves. That is officially on record what they have said.
After the vote, the BJP workers, they themselves are doing all this nonsense. The TMC workers are and they are coming with TMC flags. So these are all the BJP workers. What a holy shit they're talking about.
All right. Mr. Das, we hope that you stay safe. Thanks a lot for speaking to us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
I want to go across to Saurav Sikdar. Saurav, you've claimed that as many as 9 of BJP workers have been killed in this violence. I had Suparna Moitra on the show who said TMC workers have also got killed. One ISF worker has got killed. How will you prove that this is TMC-led attack? That's always the big question in this case.
With all due respect to Suparnada, you also know what is the fact. Because there is a place called Nanur. It's only 200 odd kilometers from Calcutta. In Nanur, more than 7 or 8 villages, all the main member of the families, they are out of home, they are escaping in the paddy field, they are escaping in out of village. in Nanur, two of our booth polling agent, they are our active party member. They were our recorded polling agent. They are gang raped. One of them are still missing. I can't say the name. There is a
Okay,
Supreme
but
Court
the
judgment.
West Bengal police, I don't know, Saurav, if you've seen this, but the West Bengal police has put it on record that that is a fake news. So are you registering any complaints? See, the only way legally you can take this forward is you have to register complaints. Family members have to register complaints.
Definitely, we are taking the legal way, and whatever is needed, we are just preparing that. And that West Bengal police, how come they just deny this? Just right now, when Mr. Mukherjee was saying, okay, even when election was going on, police was under election commission. Mamata Banerjee threatened on camera, okay, after election, even I'll see some of the police person who are not listening to me. So, I mean, we really don't expect independent or the right role that police will play. And
okay. I want to go across to Sai Deepak once again. Sai, quickly, two questions for you. One, the onus of proof lies on who here, legally speaking, and what should be the right way to take this forward? You've heard from both sides, and both sides will obviously have their own claims. Secondly, what are you expecting, hoping that the Supreme Court will do?
So, in response to the first question, from across the political spectrum, from Sitaram Yechury to the governor of the state of West Bengal, everybody has been making the statement that their cadres and people are being attacked by members of the TMC. When the governor of a state makes this particular statement, it behooves upon the state government to actually take some action and find out who the culprits are. But the fact is, the police department under the state government, as well as the top leaders of this party, have been putting out tweets to rubbish even claims of gang rape that is as insensitive and uncultured as it gets. Therefore, it is on the onus of the state government to actually prove this, because they are the ones who hold the reins of the government. If they don't understand this concept, they must give up power. They must understand this fundamental concept. If allegations are heard against a chief minister or a would-be chief minister and someone who's actually taking over power once more, then it is for them to prove this. That's point number one. Point number two, at the very least, why is it that they're not actually initiating probes? Nothing of this sort is happening. People are actually running away from police stations because police has effectively abandoned. It's as bad as Direct Action Day. That's as bad as August 1946. Second, from the Supreme Court, these are the expectations according to us as petitioners before the Supreme Court. By the way, just to correct you, I did not file it. I'm the arguing counsel. It was filed by another counsel on behalf of the petitioner. What we expect from the Supreme Court humbly is point number one, that central forces must be sent back to the state until peace is restored and law and order is restored. Fast-track courts must be set up to actually probe these matters, and these matters must be prosecuted at the earliest. Point number three, a special investigation team under the let's say, stewardship of a retired justice of the Supreme Court must actually be constituted to look into these matters. And most importantly, given the fact that the state government has effectively abandoned its duty, the constitutional machinery has broken down within the meaning of Article 356. Obviously, the Supreme Court cannot impose emergency, but the Supreme Court can take cognizance of the nature of the constitutional machinery and the fact that it's broken down, and it can forward that recommendation to the president, because ultimately it's for the president to invoke powers under Article 356. Therefore, these are the 4 points or 5 points that we've laid before the Supreme Court. We are not asking the Supreme Court to impose emergency, because that's not what the Supreme Court can do, but we are certainly asking the Supreme Court to take cognizance of the fact that the law and order machinery of the state of West Bengal has completely broken down.
All right, I've run out of time. I thank all of you for joining us. I thank Suparna Moitra of the TMC also for joining us, although he left the show midway. We'll leave it at that, and we'll hope to see that there is better control over law and order in the days to come in West Bengal. It doesn't matter who is being killed or who is dying or who is perpetrating. The point is that there is large-scale violence that is being reported from West Bengal as we speak, and as many as 3 parties. It's not just the left. Actually, Congress local leaders have also alleged that they have been attacked, their properties have been attacked. So it's BJP, left and the Congress on one side, and of course the TMC on the other side. And only proper probe can really establish what has happened. I have some breaking news also coming in. On the lines of many states that have already declared this, Karnataka has also declared journalists to be frontline workers and therefore vaccinated on priority. That has been declared by Chief Minister Yediyurappa. This is of course something that many states have already declared, including Uttar Pradesh and others, Punjab I believe as well. Let me go across to Stacey joining us with more details. Stacey.
Cabinet meeting, the Chief Minister has gone on to say that journalists will be declared as frontline workers and will be vaccinated on priority. Now, this has been a long-standing demand, which is finally going to be fulfilled. However, this meeting was more to take stock of the surge in cases that we are seeing, and also the fact of the incident that came to light yesterday in Chamarajanagar of the death of 24 allegedly due to a shortage of oxygen. Now, what the Cabinet has decided has put district in charge ministers, asked them to go back to their respective districts, given different ministers in charge of various different aspects, especially like the Minister for Industries, Jagdish Shettar, will now be looking into the oxygen supply and shortage, whereas Ashwath Narayan, who's also the Deputy Chief Minister, will be looking into the supply of remdesivir. The bed availability will be looked into by the Home Minister, Baswaraj Bommai. So different allocations coming again. There's already a task force that has also been formulated to look into the various aspects, but the Chief Minister really not taking yesterday's incident lightly and saying that whoever is responsible will be brought to task. This cabinet meeting really being called to take stock of that situation and also then further streamline the action for the government in the coming days.
All right, Stacey, thanks a lot for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on this edition. Thanks a lot for joining and thanks a lot for watching as always.